In the words of Dr. Nido Qubein, your present circumstances don't determine where you can go, they merely determine where you can start. Good evening, everyone. I am Abhishek Kumar, student representative of Team Wellness, and I would like to welcome all of you. Professor Ajit Kumar Chaturvedi, Honorable Director IIT Roorkee, Padma Shri Anju Bobby George, our chief guest for the evening, respected faculty members, seniors, and my dear friends, welcome. Today is World Mental Health Day, and we have all came together to have a discussion about mental health. Now we have a short video that shows the life of Padma Shri Anju Bobby George. Let's have a look at it. There is no sound in this video, so just we can. Wow, such an inspirational video this was. Proceeding further, it is a great pleasure that Professor Ajit Kumar Chaturvedi, our Honorable Director, is here with us this evening. May I now request Professor Chaturvedi to say a few words?
At the outset, let me welcome Miss Anju Bobby George, a national icon, youth icon, an icon for all of us. We are extremely delighted, excited, if I may say, ecstatic to be with you, Anju. You have been a light, a leading light for the entire nation. You don't know how much your name is known across the length and breadth of this country, and how many of us have partly contributed by praying for your success when whenever you are there at all those events. For me personally, I have been a great sports lover. Although I have been an ardent cricket fan, but I have followed athletics wherever Indian flag is there, lawn tennis, anything that carries the Indian flag. And you know, the day you were participating in Paris, why we were all very nervous. I think one thing what was making us nervous was I cannot talk about the amount of nervousness that you must be experiencing. That must be millions and billions of order more than us. But each one of us was nervous, and that was because PT Usha had missed the medal. And we didn't want that to happen again. Our hearts were broken. I still remember that radio news television was not there in my house at that time when PT Usha lost the bronze medal at the Olympics, 1984 Olympics. And it was a real heartbreak. And we were all praying that that history should not happen again. And when we heard the news that you got the medal, you got the entire nation overjoyed. So thank you for giving us so many joys. Thank you for telling us Indians that we are second to none when it comes to achievement on the global stage. We have made our marks in different fields, but somehow some of us carry a feeling as if we cannot be as successful as others. But you are one of those icons who has shown us that no, we are second to none, and yes, we can achieve it. The reason why we requested you to come and grace today's function is very special. And that reason is because I am sure that we all talk about your success. It is only you who know about your failures. And I am sure that there will be many, many failures throughout your journey when you would have thought that I would do this and you fell short of it. We don't know those failures. They are very private to you. They are when you felt that your hard work is not paying off, and when you may have felt that it is better to quit, I cannot succeed on the stage. I'm sure those moments would have come to you. And today is World Mental Health Day. You know, IITians are extremely ambitious students. They want the entire world at their feet. They want to be successful in everything that they try. We need to remind them today that after all, we are all human beings. It is very important that we aspire and aim for the moon, but it is equally important to realize that everything cannot be achieved and that failure is as important a part of life as success. Success does not come unless you have a string of failures. And similarly, whenever you have string of failures, success will come, and whenever you have string of success, failures will come. In fact, there is a shloka in Sanskrit which talks about that success and failure are like different parts of a wheel. One part of the wheel is at the bottom. Because the wheel moves on, it comes at the top. And when the wheel moves on further, that same thing that is at the top comes at the bottom. That is what we need to remember today. And that is what I want all my students, all my colleagues, all faculty members who are listening to this, that yes, we must aim for the moon, we must aim for the highest, but we must prepare ourselves to be mentally strong. If we are not mentally strong, especially in this very competitive area of research, we want to compete with the best in the world. We want to give the technology that any developed nation has. and we want to have the best management skills. And for that, we need fortitude, we need courage, we need to understand that yes, mental strength is as important as intelligence. Sometimes we get mistaken that if I'm very intelligent, I have everything in the world. Intelligence is just one of the attributes required for success. It is not the only thing. It is not the most important thing necessarily. It is just one of the things. Fortitude, mental health, mental strength, ability to withstand adversity, all these things are very important. And so today we are all very impatient to hear from you your different stories, your different anecdotes, and to make the conversation very friendly. Our students have collected a list of questions, and we'll pose that questions on you, Anju. And I am sure that your answers will enlighten all of us that what high achievers like you are made of and what we can learn from you so that we can not be as successful as you, but we can at least be partly as successful as you. Thank you for accepting this invitation. Thank you for being with us. We are overjoyed. Thank you for gracing it.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your valuable thoughts with us and for always being there whenever Student Wellness needs you. Before proceeding further, I have a small request for the participants. Please type your queries or questions in the chat box. Now, everybody knows our chief guest because she is a legend. But since her introduction is so exciting and inspiring, let me introduce you all with our chief guest, Panchri Anju Bobby George. Padmashri Anju Bobby George is India's first and only world champion in athletics IAAF World Athletics Final. She made history when she won the bronze medal in long jump at the 2003 World Championship in Athletics in Paris. With this achievement, she became the first Indian athlete ever to win a medal in a World Championships in Athletics jumping 6.70 meter. She was awarded with Arjun Award in 2002, Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award in 2003 after her success in the World Athletic Meet, and she was conferred Padma Shri, India's fourth highest civilian award in 2004. With great honor and pleasure, I invite Padma Shri Anju Bobby George to share her story with us. The mic is all yours, ma'am.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for inviting me today. I'm really excited and little nervous to interact with IIT people. So this is not actually speech and all these stage shows. Actually, I'm little nervous because I can do whatever I want in ground, but outside ground, uh, it's troubling me a lot. Okay, so as Ajit sir said, you all know my success stories, but definitely there are a lot of hard work and a lot of failures and a lot of things behind that. I started my career at the age of 5. Actually, it was my parents who put me in sports because they could find something different. I was a different child because I was doing everything like boys even in my younger days. So actually, they decided like whatever field she is excelling, we will put her in that. So from the age of 5, I was getting uh, proper training, and I was doing my coaching and training under a coach. And slowly, it was not a big leap. It was slowly and steadily. I reached up to the world stage, and I can. I was really lucky that each stage I could find some good support. Someone was there to support me from my childhood itself. My parents, my coaches, and the authorities. And uh, actually, in 1998, when I was just 17 years or 18-year old, I got a big injury on my takeoff leg. I was very young, and the injury was very big. It was a huge injury. So doctors told me, don't dream about anything further. Your career is going to end here, and don't dream about jumping further. So it was a big heartbreaking thing for me. But luckily, I found Bobby then, and actually he encouraged me, and he made me believe that. I have got the ability to come out of all these things, and I can do much better, and I can reach up to the world stage. But initially, it was a big task for me to believe that because with a broken leg, how I can go further. But with his support and with his encouragement, I slowly started walking. Actually, I started again learned how to walk. Then I learned how to run again, And then slowly I started training, and within 1 year I created national record. But in between there were a lot of hindrance, a lot of like even from the coaches, why you're here, why can't you go back, why you are hanging around, why you're training without this broken leg, all those things were there. But then I started realizing that something is burning inside. I want to show the world. I want to show them how much I can go and how much I can achieve. So that burning things were that was there in my inside me, and I actually that uh, actually made me like I was more active, and I was I was putting all out, and each step it was paining like anything. Even my stride, each stride was paining, and but still I could do and I could reach up to this level. So from that day I was, I just want to like, it was not an easy task for me. And after the national record, I qualified for the Olympics, but unfortunately, again, because of this pain, I couldn't go in 2000 Olympic Games. But in 2003, actually, after the Asian Games and Asian Games gold and Commonwealth first ever medal for our country, we decided to go abroad for competition and training, and we decided to go US for 2 months training. And but that actually we tried a lot, and we spent a lot of time just before the World Championship, running behind pillars and posts, and behind the authorities for clearance. And 3 months before I got the clearance, and when we reached there, it was just, uh, I thought America is something like a heaven, but it was not like. Just, it was beyond my imagination. And I thought why I landed here. But with the help of Mike Powell, the world record holder, we trained there for almost 1.5 months. And from there, I got a manager. And uh, from there, again, I got a chance to compete in the Grand Prix competition where all the top athletes are competing. And they told actually, if you're winning this championship, we'll get further competitions. So I got a silver there, and from there I competed almost 6 competitions. But last competition, something went wrong, and I was like not in a position to move because the situation was very new for me. I was not competing that much at a stretch, and just before 20 days, 25 days before the World Championship, the German doctors told me that it's better you go back. You are fatigued and you cannot walk, and don't think for another 6 months any competition. So I was in a position why we wasted all this time, and why we because in US the training was very hard. The throughout the day, almost 8 hours, we used to do training under sun, and it was too hectic for me. And we did all the competitions, but at last moment this happened. So I told Bobby, it's not going to happen. I'm going back. But again, he told me like, why you're going back? We never visited Paris. We'll just go to Paris and you just roam around. We are not going to compete. So I said, okay, why? Okay, I'll go. And we reached there. 2 days we spent in a hotel. And then he told, why can't you go and visit our games village? There are a lot of athletes from all over the world. We'll just go there and just roam around. I said, yes, okay. Then he told, see, all the athletes are training. Just go to the ground and just do some jogging. I said, yes. But within 10 days, he made me jump my best jump. So it was a mental training. I don't know how he did, some magic he did. And when Michael came back from US, he was rushing towards me, Bobby, she's flying. So what magic you did? So this was his training, mental training, what he gave for me during that difficult time. And even in competition, the first day he told, you just, because athletics is one of the toughest event in the world, and we are competing at a time for all the opponents together. So he told me, just look all these 6 athletes only, and you do your best. I did. I was in the best of 6. When the next day morning he came and told me, this is the best day in your life. You are going to win a medal. I said, what? No, this is the best day. I said, okay. And he just rounded 3 names, and I was one of them. And he told, you are going to win a medal. Okay, I went for the competition, and the first round I was leading. But from the second round, I came back to fourth. And my fourth jump, it was a big leap. But actually, what happened, one raised the white flag and one raised the red flag. And they told 2 millimeter foul. 2 millimeter. It was a huge jump, 7 meter jump. So the fifth jump, again, when I went back to position, my check mark was not there. Someone has taken my check mark. So without check mark, how we can jump? I was in a big trap then, but somehow I managed. And you can see in that jump, I am doing all these dramas because that was not a good jump from my side. And I was about to deliver a big jump, but nothing happened. But still, I managed 670 and I got a bronze. So all these things, even while standing in that stadium, if something happened like this, how we will manage? But we are trained for that. Even we know how to handle all this pressure because fifth jump, if I am not going to do, then that's it. My competition is gone. But somehow I manage, and all these things, training, mental training, actually from the childhood itself, we are learning. Slowly, we are learning how we can withstand with all this pressure and all these things. So luckily, I could do, execute everything really well, and India got the first World Championship medal. And again in 2004 Olympics, the entire India was aiming for waiting for a medal from me, but unfortunately, because of the Russian mafia and all these things, I couldn't do, and I was not well that day. Still, we are waiting for crossing fingers and waiting for that medal. But actually, I can say that this was not an easy task for me. There was lot of troubles, lot of injuries, lot of problems. But but all of with the support of my husband and my coach Bobby, I could manage everything really well because he was managing everything perfectly for me. So now, after my career, I did till 2008 Olympics. And after my career, now we have started Anju Bobi Sports Foundation in Bangalore. So we are select. Now we have got almost 14 young talents from all over India, young girls from 12 to 18-year old age. And this last 1 year, they are training under me and Bobby. And one of our girl from UP, she's already world number two. Uh, she's just 16-year-old. So in her age category, she's world number two. And we are aiming for 2024 and 2028. And we are starting, our academy is starting from where we stopped. So for our girls, it's very easy to cope up with all these things because we are here to support them and we are here to guide them. And my Olympic medal, I am aiming from them. So this is my story, and now it's open for your questions.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you, ma'am. The motivating
Chip,
story of your life will stay in our memory for a long, long time. As students, we are so proud and so glad that our country has heroes like yourself who inspire us. Now we can start with question answer session. First question we are having is from Juhi Agarwal. Juhi, you can turn on your mic and ask your question. I think she is not here. Let me ask her question. The question is how the whole journey you covered does was influenced by various factors. To be more clear, how would your experience have been different if you were from some sports heavy country or you were a male, especially catering to various external and internal emotions? How can I indulge myself more, or basically, how can I break the set mindset that sports are not my thing?
Actually, it's little tricky because in India, yes, there are a lot of problems for girl kids, but still, I am lucky that I am a proud girl child from my country, and I got all the support from my country, and I could reach up to this level. So I cannot say that if I was not from India, I could have reached that level, or some other country I could have reached, I could have do that. No, I am happy with my country and I am happy whatever I achieved. And yes, there is a difference between men and women, but still I can say that if you look at the India's record, the most international medals won by our Indian girl kids. So there's we cannot say that if I was a no, I couldn't achieve. I can achieve much better if I was the different gender. So that's not the case. But actually, the support what we are getting from India, it's I can say that it much better than some of our leading countries. Of course, America, maybe Russia, maybe China, they are supporting their athletes, but India is spending a lot of amount on athletes, and we are calling out coaches, good coaches from outside, and throughout the year we are giving camp and support, and definitely Athletic Federation of India is supporting us a lot, and our new minister also supporting, and there are a lot from the grassroots level. They are trying to find new talents, and from there till the podium, the entire support will be getting. And after their career, there are good jobs they are into. So actually, if you're talented enough in sports, we need to change the mindset of our parents. They are thinking that only studies will make you something big. No, if you're talented enough in some other field, just make them to do that, and they will. At last, what we need to achieve our best, and we need to mark when we go from this world. So if you're talented enough, just go and chase your dream. That's all.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Next question we have is from Jitendra Kumar. Jitendra, if you can hear me, you can turn on your mic and ask your question. Okay, so let me ask the question on behalf of Jitendra. The question is, ma'am, you are an athlete, and perhaps you might have noticed many times players also suffers from depression and mental health issues. And I think you will relate improvement of mental health with the help of sports. Then how a normal person can get overcome with this type of mental disorders?
No, actually, this mental problems. Actually, we in each phase of our life we are facing that. It's smaller version or bigger version, but we are facing that. But as an athlete, actually, as I said, we are trained for that, and we know how to handle. But still, I just saw one message from IAAF, International Athletic Federation of India, because of this and this pandemic, no competitions are happening, and Olympics also postponed. Lot of athletes are in mental trouble, but IAAF is supporting them in such a way how they can overcome all these things, and even the WADA and all the sports bodies are supporting them. Even so, I was wondering, even for athletes, we are also suffering with if something happened, we are also into that, we are also getting that mental trouble and drama, all those things. But still, I think athletes, we are much stronger, and if we get a small support, even if no, if we get a small support, we know how to overcome that. But actually, I have learned from many medias and paper reports that from IIT or from leading institutions, there are a lot of suicides and a lot of things and a lot of trouble for students. I don't know why this is happening, because see, this is not the end of our life, and this is not the first rank or second rank is deciding who is going to win in their life. Maybe the last person will be much more maybe getting more exposure, or they will be on top, maybe in future. So this is not a mark or this thing, it's deciding our life. And don't think that this is end of our life. There are a lot of, you have to reach a lot, you have to go a longer way, or you have to run a longer way. So just wait and watch what is uh, um, the world is giving you, or what is you may be thinking that uh, this is in everything is going to what to say, I'm not getting the correct word. uh, this is the end of your life. No, just wait and watch. So don't do anything because you just think you're anything wrong in your life.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Next question we have is from Vinay. Vinay, you can ask your question.
Good evening, ma'am. My
Good evening.
as director sir said that nervousness cannot be explained. So my question is, what was your mind freeing thing that helped to stay focused?
See, as an athlete, we are already, no, we are trained for that, and we are every year we are aiming for one competition, and we are training for that, and we are tuning even our blood rhythm just towards that moment and that time. So, but in between, there are a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of problems, struggles will be there, injury will be there, but we are slowly and steadily we are overcoming that, and we are just aiming for that. So, uh, so actually, I cannot explain in words how we are, what kind of uh, mental, how we are, when we are going for a competition, how much pressure we are handling. Because the expectations is huge and we have to handle all these things, and yet still we have to do our best on that particular day or that on that competition. So see, it's it's a different world. And see, if you are not getting a rank, first rank in your IIT, then see, you're thinking your life is ending. But we are competing with the world. We are competing with 210 countries, and we are only 3 medals are there. And standing in that podium, just imagine how much hard work we have to put and how much struggle we have to overcome. So, see, each one of us are doing our part, but still, sometimes we may win, sometimes we may lose. Life is like that. So take it as how it comes, and just put your best, and dream and until you dream until your dreams come true, because the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. So that's my word.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Vinay. Next question we have is from Anjuli. Anjuli Goswami, you can turn on your mic and ask your question.
Better you ask this question.
Yeah,
Ma'am,
yeah. She is there. Anjuli,
my
hello.
question is
Yeah.
like there are many emotions. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. I am not able to
Am
hear
I
you
audible, sir?
properly.
Yes, you are audible. You are
Yeah,
audible.
you are audible now.
Yes, carry on. Go ahead.
Hello, Anjuli, please unmute your mic. After that, you can talk.
Ma'am, my question is like there are many emotions, excitement, anxiety, thrill when we are just one step away from the success. So how do you control your emotions at that time?
Okay, yeah. See, I'm a long jumper, and we will get 6 jumps, and only one jump, the best jump will count. So in each jump, we may in first position, or we may go back to the second or third or sixth. So I can say that my first Commonwealth Games till fifth jump, I was in sixth position. So only one competition left. So in last jump, and Bobby was not there. That was my first international exposure, and Bobby was my coach was not there. I was doing alone. So I was thinking, just 640. I was standing in the fifth position. I was like in a state like I can jump far, but I am not. Why I am not able to do? And that atmosphere, the London weather was very new for me. It was windy, it was cold, but still, I actually my mind was like, I can jump far, much far than 640. So in my last jump, I put all out, and that was 649, and I got the bronze. So till the last moment, we need to keep that fighting spirit. And see, we are training and we are spending a lot of time on ground under the sun. We are leaving everything behind just for this competition. And the last moment, without fighting, how we can leave that? So actually, each and every athlete, till the last moment, we are fighting for that medal. And in World Championship also, I was in the 4th position, but in 5th jump, I came back to bronze. So this is actually, it's a natural process. Other than, I think, Usain Bolt, who can run far than any other Americans or any other Russians or any other world beaters, none of us are sure short of any medal. We have to fight until our last minute or until our last jump. So see, this is what sports: uncertainty. There's no sure shot. So those who are waiting till the last moment, or those who are putting your 100% effort till the last moment, will win. That's the beauty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Before proceeding further, our Associate Dean of Student Wellness, Kiran sir, wants to say something.
Uh, Good evening, ma'am. Actually, I can probably want to tell everyone that what Miss George is talking about 2002 Manchester, I was there in the stadium. So actually, I feel honored. It's a fanboy moment for me to see you take that leap of faith. The last jump, it was unbelievable. So thank you once again, and we wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Kaushik Pandit. Kaushik, you can ask your question now. Hello, Kaushik, can you hear me? Okay, so proceeding further, next question is from Adesh.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
My question is how to be level-headed when you achieve superstardom.
See, we all are human beings. There can be like winning, losing, but you need to lead your life. And you need to always remember your past and your future. And you should stand firm on ground, but always look up and always aim for something bigger. But don't leave your like what to call
Basics.
yes. So see, I am just one among them. I'm a world champion, but still there are a lot of achievers, lot of bigger achievers in the world. There are a lot of um, like scientists, sports stars, but still, see, we need to be very humble, and we need to live with people. It's not that we are something big and we have to stay away from society, or we have to lead a separate life. No, we are one among you, and we have to live along with you, and we have to live a normal life. We have to lead a normal life.
Thank you, Adesh. Thank you, ma'am. Next question we
Thank
are
you so
getting
much.
is from Miss Lavina. Lavina, ma'am, you can open your mic and ask your question.
Good evening, ma'am. A very good evening to all of you. As Director Sir said, that being IITians, we want to excel in whatever we do. And we do live into the world of competition every single time. It's not as huge as World Championship for sure for us. But sometimes we know that the things which bother us the most, like sudden death of our loved ones or about the unpleasant relationships we have in life, or about our unproductivity towards our greatest goal of life, we don't have to think about them. As a solution by many, as suggested, is that not to think about those things or to keep yourself busy or have a productive distraction. But in spite of knowing this fact, our mind involves into a deep loop of thinking quite often, consciously or unconsciously, both. So the control over the thoughts does not seem to be an easy or achievable task. So if I frame it shortly, it is how to be able to control your thoughts which are related to something which matters to us the most, and thus is causing immense hurt to the emotional and creating mental imbalance.
Okay, yeah. See, we are human beings, we have got emotions, and we have to learn how to overcome this. But it's very easy to say. But in reality, it's very difficult. See, even we athletes, when we are going for a competition, when I'm standing on the runway, see, there will be maybe more than lakh people will be there affected us, and there will be a lot of noise. But we need to learn how to shut from those world and how to focus on our jump, how to focus on our thing. The same like when we do something, it's easy to say that shut down from the world and do your work, but you have to do that and you have to learn that. Then only you'll find success. See, it's not that you don't think about that, don't think about your family, don't think about your past, or don't think about your future. No, you have to think, but you need to learn from that and go ahead. That you need to do.
Thank you, Lavina. Thank you, ma'am. Due to time constraints, the following will be the final question for this evening. And this question is from Nikhil Kumar. Nikhil, you can ask your question now. Nikhil, can you hear me? Okay. So let me ask the question. What exercise can we do to keep our mind healthy, and how much sleep play a role in keeping it healthy?
I think everyone knows that sleep is playing a bigger role. You need to sleep at least 7 to 8 hours. But for I think it's not possible with you guys during exam times. Without sleep, you have to study a lot and you have to spend a lot time in front of your books. Uh, yes, but of course, our body needs rest. And see, I think for you people, yoga will be a good choice because that will bring your mind calm, and no need to spend a lot of time, and no need to do more exercise, because if you do more exercise, your brain will be draining a lot, and you will be feeling some drowsiness or some kind of thing. But yoga, I think, is a better choice for you guys. And it's always you think that just remember, you may be a topper from your school, but when you all come together, someone will be on the top and someone will be on the last position. But take it as it is, and just live your life and wait for your future. Something big will be there waiting for you, and just wait for that.
Thank you, ma'am. We have also one question from our staff also. So I just want to ask that question. The question is, if people who organize International Mental Health Day does not really care about mental health of students, then what should a student do?
I was also a student, and see, unfortunately, from 10th standard, I was studying alone because I was not getting any chance to go to school. I don't know how I did that, but I was till degree I was doing alone, and only for the last exam I appear, and somehow I managed first class. That was my dream, and I got that. But actually, students, see, you just think in this way. You don't need to worry about anything else. Your parents will give you everything, or you don't need to worry about see how like your parents or like your teachers or like others. You only need to study and focus. That is your only duty. So put your 100% in that, and after that, you can do whatever you want. So when you are into studies, just study and don't think about anything beyond. Of course, you need to fix a goal, but other than that, what you need to do? Nothing. So just study, enjoy your life. Don't forget that along with your studies, you have to do something, like some activities to which keep you motivate, like some sports or some arts or whichever you like, and stay focused. Nothing more you need to do, and nothing you need to worry about anything in your life, because this is the beautiful part in your life. After your studies, there are a lot of struggles, lot of things you have to do, and lot of uh, uh, what to say. I can say that, yeah, this is your beautiful time in your life. Just enjoy it like as it is.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for this truly engaging and enlightening evening. I am sure that each one of us here has learned something extremely valuable from your experience. Now, I would request Professor M.K. Barua, our Dean of Students Welfare, to give a vote of thanks.
Well, at the outset, I would like to thank Ms. Sanjeev for sparing your valuable time talking to our students. In fact, you have shared your life experiences right from your childhood to the journey which you have gone through at national and international level. In fact, as you rightly said, that you need to be focused, you need to be hardworking all the time, you need to have determination. And our students are, most of them, they do all these things most of the times, but still sometimes they get several pressures. They have got academic pressure, family pressure, and most importantly, peer pressure, because everybody thinks that he is an IITian. So that peer pressure is more on them. So earlier, what we used to have counseling from senior students to junior students. But for last couple of years, we started counseling cell in our institute, and we have got now counselors available 24/7. We have got access to counseling through phone, through one-to-one, and we have hired a counseling agency as well. So now the cases related to stress are now coming down, and that's really a good thing which Professor Chaturvedi did in last couple of years. So thank you once again for sharing your valuable experiences. I hope that our students would remember your interaction, your suggestions, and whatever you shared with us. I think it's really great. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. I would like to conclude with the words of Roy T. Bennett, as also mentioned by Anju ma'am. Don't be pushed around by the fears in your mind. Be led by the dreams in your heart. At the end, I would like to thank Professor Kiran Ambatipudi, Faculty Advisor Team Wellness, Professor Rachita Gulati, Faculty Advisor NSS, and the entire team of Wellness Center and NSS IIT Roorkee for organizing this wonderful event. Thank you everyone for being the part of this really amazing and wonderful event. Have a great evening and always remember to take good care. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you much.